we've actually stuck with this for 10 episodes. I feel like that's like a podcast milestone.
It is a podcast milestone, but I do think that we're to stick with it people. Like,
facts.
I mean, aside from the fact that you are on your second sabbatical, but we are stick with it people. You do stick with your sabbaticals. I'll give you that.
you are really good at taking time off. I once had a review and like I read one of those reviews from like one of my old EPs and it said is really good at finding work-life balance. And I was like, I feel like there's some shade there at the fact that like if I'm not feeling it, I will use a PTO day. And
or like a sick day or like whatever, a personal day. No, but I think that's like when you would get like one of those reviews in like, I don't know, elementary school, and they'd be like, Adam is very talkative or like the most chatty in the class. And you're like, is this a backhanded, like, is this a good thing?
My God.
Or
Sam, have you ever seen those memes that are like, connects like, always got a pleasure to have in class, ended up being gay?
No, that's your algorithm.
It's like that's definitely my algorithm. It's like a mixes of like definitely like likes to talk a lot and a pleasure to have in class equals gay adult. And
that is so like the pipeline from pleasure to have in class to gay adult is not far.
No, not at all. It's like you're just always trying to seek approval and make like the people around you happy, and you're a pleasure to have in class. Like, what can I say?
I feel like definitely I was told by many a teacher that I had like perfectionist tendencies, and like sometimes we just need to like
that early,
you know, like put it. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure.
That's
and then like,
insane.
But I was such a perfectionist that if I did something badly or poorly, i.e. math, I would just like straight up hide it, like just bury it deep down. I once tried to throw away a failed math test in the laundry room trash can. This is the one time I was like ever grounded as a kid because my mom was like, oh, did you like get that math test back? And I was like, no, it hasn't come back yet. Meanwhile, I've stuffed it in the laundry room trash can. And my mother is a stay-at-home mom. She's doing the laundry like every day. I couldn't pick a better place. And she was like, oh, really? Because I found your math test in the trash can. I was just like, but it was just such a stark difference between like how I would do in language classes and how I would do in math classes. And it was just like, I just couldn't handle it. So I was like, you know what, just throw it away and pretend it doesn't exist. So I don't know what a teacher would call that these days, but
we call that
was me.
Avoiding your problems.
Avoiding our problem. That's basically what I'm doing now. It's basically just how it entered into adulthood. Started with one failed math test and the pipeline was not far. But I very vividly remember I got grounded and I was taking horseback riding lessons at the time. We were living in California and I had 3 weeks of my horseback riding lessons taken away. Like I vividly remember that.
There's those punishments when you're a kid. Like on that note, I was listening to a podcast and they're talking about like white lies we tell. And I got brought back to like 5th or 6th grade, like spelling test. And I don't remember what the word was, but there was one word I didn't know. And I looked at my friend's paper and I got the right answer. I got the test back the next day and I crumbled. There was no pressure.
Because you missed one word?
No, because I cheated to get that one word.
Oh.
And like, I did not sleep that night. I did not like the second I got that test back, I like went to my teacher and like groveled for mercy. And like this poor 4th, 5th grade teacher, 6th, whatever it was, who definitely already had a long day, was just like, do you feel bad? And I was like, yes. And she was like, good, great. Don't do it again. Bye-bye.
Pleasure to have in class. He
Still
told me when
a
he was
pleasure
lying.
to have in class.
He told me he was lying, cheating. He's a pleasure to have in class. That is so funny.
And just like the brand hasn't changed.
No. Nope.
Like
nope.
Brutally honest.
That's how you take your job. Like brutally honest, you're always going to do the work. And that's probably like, could you imagine, like think of 4th and 5th graders now. Think of how many people in college like can basically not read a book and just AI their way through college now. How many 4th and 5th graders are going to be able to AI their way through elementary school in the next 15 years? I read an incredible article about AI this
Mm.
morning, and I was just like, I'm blown away at how fast it's coming and how fast it's developing. It's both scary to think about how much it can take over basic operations. Like one of the specs of the article was in the Times was about how like it in the next few years we'll be able to do most white collar jobs. Think about that.
It's like people
Crazy.
keep saying plumbing safe and like those hands-on jobs too, but
Right.
like I don't it's hard for me to like get my head around anything being untouched by this. Like I have gone
Mm-hmm.
on a date with a plumber and then like listening to how AI was I don't discriminate.
I,
It's
I'm
a
just
great
like
job.
that
It's
was
an
such a
honorable
random
profession.
plug. Yes, it is. It's a
But like
listen.
how else would
Trade
I
is
have
the
had
safest thing right now.
right, ooh, trade
Look
in
at
that
us. We're
sentence?
unemployed. We should go back to plumbing school.
Hold on. Now, there's so many things I want to comment to that. First, the use of trade in that context. Do you know, like, trade, what that can mean, like the gay community?
No.
Trade is like that piece of ass that everybody wants.
Wow.
So it's like there's some trade in the room, like, probably not using that 100% correctly, but like there's some like fine looking mothers in this room.
You're like my gay urban dictionary, and I appreciate that about you. Because I
I
never
hope
would
I
have
could be
known
all
that.
of your at home's gay urban
Yeah, I'm
dictionary.
like, what? That just, I don't even know how would the word trade mean that? I don't know.
I
I'll
think like
take it
the
at
way
face value though.
I guess it's like, but be like, but also be like, that's some, anyway, I'm not that hip, but I watch enough Drag Race to pick
So
up on
that
things
was
every
some
now and
trade,
then.
and you dated it was a plumber that was some
Plumber,
trade.
there was a plumber and there's trade, but yes, he was talking about how AI on the back end is impacting their
Yeah.
lives and like taking away some of the
Ooh,
admin work. And I'm like, that's the only positive thing. But I have an AI like itch to scratch or like thing to get pissed about because
which is
I job applications in AI. Holy
mm,
mother of Jeebus. I'm in this sabbatical. Part of that is me being like already starting to look for jobs and trying to understand what's out there. I've been
mhm.
reaching out to mentors. We'll definitely talk about that in a little bit. But like just like physically putting in the application. I put in an application for a job. I like really thought I was like at least a contender for an interview for. Like at the very least, I had like people I knew at the company, and then 2 days later get like that automatic like thank you for your consideration, like no personality, just like
Ew.
email. And I'm like, it has been 24 to 48 hours. You had no time to review my materials, my
Right.
resume, and
Like,
then
what
I
do
like
they look
saw
at to then rule you out?
right like and then so I look and there is like an AI note that like AI may be used to process your applications, blah, blah, blah. So naturally I went down a rabbit hole and there's already like a massive industry of people who are like going to help your resume be like AI proof because like you don't know the keywords or whatever that they're
Right.
using to scan. And then one of them was like, oh, if you have 2 or 3 different colors, some of the older AI models, if they haven't switched, like might not be able to like read the text that you have with like a blue background and white print or something. So all these things and like keywords and so like it's me and literally like ChatGPT, Gemini, you name it, talking back and forth for about 2 hours this morning to do the thing that I kind of hated, which was AIing up my resume to make sure
What?
that it would get through those filters. And now I'm noticing when I put in applications or when I read job opportunities, like I'll shout out The Guardian. They had a giant note at the bottom of their application that was essentially like, we read every application by hand. AI will have no, we will never run your stuff through AI. And I'm like, the fact that you have to put that in such big letters and prominent and like make that known is giving me that indication that most other people in this kind of type of sphere are not doing that. And I get it, lots of applications come in, but like you have to get through that first entry and you have to kind of play the AI game to do that. And
Yeah.
so
That's
that
wild.
is, so I'll let you know how it goes, but I spent like, yeah, 2, 3 hours today, like redoing my resume to make it quote unquote AI proof using AI's tips on like, hey, pretend you were like prompting it, be like, pretend you were the software that XYZ kind of companies use. What are like, in getting very creative with prompts and
I wonder what, like, why do they are they looking for, maybe they're ruling out specific like number of years job experience, maybe they're ruling you out based on certain criteria, like,
Mm-hmm.
but that just feels, I get it, you want to expedite the process, but
1,000%.
But for years
Mm-hmm.
and years and years, this is how it's been done. Someone has received those applications and read them and sifted through them. Imagine Spark noting your employees. That's basically what you're doing. You don't really know them then. You've just gone
No.
through AI to find them.
And I was like, and not even that, it's we were told growing up, or at least I was told in college, that you want to make your resume stand out, make it look
Yes.
unique in the pile, all of those things. And I guess I had to like come to terms with like, oh crap, like that is a dated view because people aren't printing out your resumes and putting them in a pile. I was explaining to someone like how fraternity rushing and all of that works because here it is a mind blowing like idea in Buenos Aires that, and I was like, yeah, there are people that will put your picture on a screen and everybody in the house will be like, yay or nay to
Mm-hmm.
this person. And that is still kind of maybe one on one, maybe not like that, how I envisioned a job application process
Yeah.
could still kind of have at its core, but I guess not. And maybe I was rejected for a million other reasons, but the AI was like, oh, yeah, this system would note that you have 2 extra spaces after this period. And I'm like, you visually can't see that. But like, that's what I did for formatting, but it's reading it as a typo.
Oh, that's so
So it's like
okay. So
a
it's
resume with typos too.
that's so weird. And I
Uh-huh.
wonder, like, when you're prompting AI, like, what is AI telling you that it's looking for in your, is it looking for typos?
It said it was like a first run through with typos. Also making sure that you had like the criteria, which again,
Okay.
I was also always taught that if a job says, and again, this is probably a hugely gendered thing as well. I was always taught that if the application says like 6 to 8 years of experience, still apply if you have 4 years,
Yes.
right? Like always put in the application
Right.
because you don't know what other skills you have. You don't know what else you bring to the table that might also hold value that isn't just like years in a newsroom to use our field. Shocked that maybe those are just getting caught now. It is a black box that I'm not entirely sure these companies understand because they're probably getting a third party group. So I just hope hiring managers out there are still reading resumes like with their
Yeah.
face.
I feel like what it's probably doing is it's sifting through layers, right? And
Mm.
like you said, it's probably looking for certain criteria and it's immediately giving the hiring manager a no pile. Whereas like previously, a no pile would have started with the hiring manager looking at a tape, getting 7 seconds in and going, nope, and putting it in the no pile. Which, like, there are problems with that too. And, you know, we could talk about that ad nauseum at the way that news directors look at the first 10 to 15, if they get to the 10-second mark of your tape and they've already made a decision. And so, like, I guess in a way, you would think AI would even the playing field,
You would hope.
but but it doesn't, in the sense that if you're already being ruled out before you're even looked at for your special skills and criteria, like that's not helpful either. I'd be curious, what are your mentors saying? Like how have those conversations gone?
So essentially, what I've done in the past couple of weeks, especially spurred by this rejection happening so quickly to something that, again, really thought could be a match, I was like, okay, I don't know the game anymore. Like, I had an agent, I no longer have an agent. I don't know what's out there. So my approach is never, ever to ask anybody for a job. Like, nobody, like, hey, do you have any openings at your company? It sounds nice, but at the end of the day, that's not what people love giving advice. They don't want to give you a job. So I go for
Yeah.
advice. So I reach out to my mentors. I do kind of very short emails. Actually, shout out to Tim Ferriss. In the world of productivity hacks and everything like that, this is one I use to this day, which is like no more than 4 to 6 sentences. Who I am, like what I've been up to, what I'm looking for. And what I'm asking them for is give me, point me in a direction. What are 3 to 4 to 5, 1 or 2 healthy media companies that you think I should explore? What are some different avenues that you know my skills could apply for that I might not know my skills could be used for?
Mm.
And those are the conversations I've been having, which have really opened my eyes because there are things that I have forgotten existed. There are companies that are interested, and it all comes back down to vertical video. That every single conversation like this has included the words vertical video, which is kind of disheartening. It's back to telling a story in 10 seconds or less. And that's an important tool, but I don't know if that in its own right, just making quick stories will give me that sense of fulfillment. And
Vertical
everybody's
video in what
saying
context? Like in a news context or in a social media context? Like,
any,
okay. So
any.
like
It's
any
like,
company is
can
talking about vertical video.
any company is looking for somebody right now who can pitch, produce, edit, and do all the vertical video across their socials. I have seen that kind of job
Wow.
under a million different titles. At
Not just news jobs, like
no, mm-mm.
across the board. And you're considering things that are outside of news too, for anyone who's listening, right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Media and everything like that. I like making things. I like making creative things. I like talking to people. Like, give me something in that world. And then the other great piece of advice that has really changed the way I see a next step is something that again 3 or 4 people have told me, which is the next step isn't the next career. Taking
Mm.
another job doesn't mean you are locked in to a whole new branch of your career. Instead, it is just the next step. Logical, but really needed to hear that.
Yeah. Especially coming from a career where you're living in a passion avenue all day, every day. Like this is the job you were passionate about. You are chasing it at 3 a.m. Doesn't matter if you're sleep deprived, doesn't matter if you're emotionally unwell, like you're just going to do it anyway. Whereas this type of job is literally just a job, and that's okay. And you bring the
Yes.
skills that you're good at and you bring balance. And I think that's what's so hard about thinking about a next step. And when we had Madeline on, for those of you who listened to the episode where we brought on Madeline Cudahy, one of our former co-hosts on a show that we worked on in Colombia, she talked about that, how she had that
Mhm.
bridge year and she worked a job that she was excited about. It was different. It was completely outside of news, but it wasn't her long-term fit. And it was something that allowed her to apply some skills she had, learn a few new skills, and then really think about what she wanted to do next. And now she's in this job that she loves, and it's fundraising, and it's a cause that she really cares about, fundraising and event planning, and she's crushing it. Like that's incredible. But she needed that like little bridge to get her to that point. So that's a tough thing when you've worked in a job where you feel like you've poured your heart and your soul into for years and years, and now you have to completely reframe like the way that you approach your work.
It is hard as hell out there right now. Media jobs are not plentiful. They are not lucrative. They, I mean, and people, the hiring managers, the EPs, the everything of these shows and productions are hyper aware of how shit it is out there to be looking for a job, which I, which again was kind of like validating, but also made them more on my side that I'm used to.
Mm.
Like, I'm talking about mentors I interned for 10 years ago. Like, I really dug into the Rolodex of just like, please, I am so confused about like what even is an option. um, so yeah, those were my takeaways, and trying
Those
to
are good
continue
ones.
to turn off that productive, like must, like especially after doing the resume for so long today, it is a little dreary outside in Buenos Aires. So I was like, it's the right day to do it.
Yeah.
But just like trying to remember, it's like, okay, you did that, but you're also on vacation, and separating
Yeah.
those two brains.
Do you feel like I feel like this lately? It's this
Mm.
constant feeling of like I'm supposed to be doing something and I can't seem to scratch the itch no matter how much I do. And obviously
Mm-hmm.
my time constraints are different than your time constraints, but it's that constant feeling of like anxiety that I have yet to perform something or do something or create something. And I'm like running out of time. And I could imagine you have like an actual clock. You're in Argentina for 2 months. Do you have a flight booked back? Yeah, back yet or no?
I do have a flight booked back.
Yeah.
I actually might, because of like job stuff and like some of those conversations, might go back a little earlier than I planned,
Okay.
which is kind of throwing my brain for a loop. Also, like it would be home for like the Jewish high holy days. It would
Yeah.
be awesome to be with my family here, but I think my family back in South Carolina would really appreciate me being able to down there.
That gives you another month plus. I mean, that gives
I have
you
5 more
some
weeks
time.
minimum here.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is potentially more than enough time, potentially not enough time. How are you
Mhm.
dealing with that feeling of needing to be productive and not feeling like you're needing to be productive? Because I'm not doing well.
Wine here is so good and so
Oh,
cheap, and you can't have that, and I'm
and
so
I
sorry.
can't.
Um,
That's so true. Yeah, I mean, it's like the ability to be able to like wind down and release.
correct.
Yeah, I do
It's
miss wine for
it's
that purpose.
I mean, but the honest answer is I have really made it intentional. And I've told a lot of people here about not letting me do that because I know it's a habit I fall into. I know that, like, that itch you scratch, like, it is a drug. It is, I want always to feel that productive. I like getting the validation. Like, admitting I like the validation was another big thing of like a job well done or thank you for that story. Like, that stuff means so much. And, but I think it's that reminder that there is nothing right now that would scratch my itch. And I keep going back. I think we're both like insane journalers. Not one of those
Yes.
people that like has a perfect one from every day. But if I have a
No.
thought that I need to work out, I need to write it out.
Yeah.
And I go back, I have this one journal entry from right as I was getting ready to leave Phoenix about like what my dream 3 or 4 months look like. And I have to remind myself over and over again that like this is that.
Mm,
This was planned unproductivity almost. And
interesting.
that helped me that helps me get that release when I feel that pressure and that like need for validation build up.
Do you feel like you're able to rest? Because there's a very big difference between like taking a sabbatical and vacation and resting, like truly resting.
I had a moment. It was like one of the sunniest days we've had here. Because again, Argentina, Southern Hemisphere, reverse season. So it's the middle of winter, which is amazing when I think about the 120 degrees that's happening right now, some days in Phoenix.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely not.
but but it's also not always the most encouraging for like being outside and going on long walks. But this was a really nice day. I'd spent like hours sitting in the park, reading a book, Heated Rivalry in Spanish, read the whole third book in Spanish.
Look at you go.
I
Pat
know.
yourself on the
I
back.
know. I know. We have to give ourselves like a little bit of like
And that was
fun
one of your
to yeah,
goals.
and that was a goal. I'm on to like a Argentinian author. I digress. There was that moment that I was like literally watching the ducks. There was this cute little dog running by, and I like had a sigh that I was like, oh crap, I'm relaxed. Like,
Hmm.
this is relaxed. This was not induced by any substances at all, but like it was a calm that I like made a mental note of like, remember this. This is that
Yeah.
feeling and try to come back to this.
Ooh, that's a really good one. Heated rivalry in Spanish, man. It'll do it for you. That'll
If
do
that's
it
not
for you.
Zen,
If
haven't
that's
gone
not
to a
Zen,
single
I don't,
yoga class like I said I
you
would
know,
every day here.
well,
But
you'll get there. I feel like you have to start somewhere. And you know what? Reading, like taking the time to sit down and read a book. I've been thinking a lot about this lately because actually, I'm a bookish human and I love nothing more than to like be completely sucked into something fictional. I really do. It's one of my favorite things. I am sitting next to the largest bag of books from Barnes and Noble. I don't know if anybody else participated in the hardcover book haul that just happened this week. Like an embarrassing, I can't even show you how many, they had to double bag my bag. Okay. And all I have wanted to do this week is sit down and pull one of
mm,
my 11,000 books out of this bag. And I'm like, that would
mm,
be relaxation. What I've started to do is throughout the day, I carry something around. Have you heard of like the concept of having a house bag?
no,
Probably not.
but I know that a bunch of moms always have totes with them.
Yes, this is different from that. This is like for
Okay.
me specifically. Okay, this would be like, so you're thinking of like a diaper bag or like a bag that I have like snacks and diapers and things. This is
Yeah. The Mary
specifically for,
Poppins.
yeah, the Mary Poppins bag. This is more for me. So it's like a, I guess you could call it like an analog bag. You've probably heard of the
Mm.
analog trend, whatever, that everybody is like trying to parent like it's 1996.
Oh, we don't have the
That's a
same
whole different
algorithm, my
thread.
dude.
Basically, everybody this summer has been like, oh, we need to have a 90s mom summer. Like, the kids need to play outside. We're not entertaining our kids 24/7. We're going to make them like actually just like play in the dirt and do things outside. And mom can take a phone call. Mom, like, the idea being there's some separation. Um, um, the analog bag trend is having a screen free bag of things for your child to do, whether it's like
Mm.
puzzles or coloring, whatever. The house bag is for me, and it is essentially my analog bag, but in it, I have whatever craft I'm working on. I'm currently knitting a baby blanket. That's like my new thing. I have a hard copy of a book, like a hardcover book. And then I usually have the straight up newspaper in there. And throughout the day, if I like have something else I want to throw in there, then I'm like, oh, if I sat down and I was like carrying my house bag, like what would I want to pull out in a moment of rest? And that is the house bag. So that's become my
How
new
much of
thing.
that
I carry it with me
is
all the time.
inspirational? Like, how many times a day do you actually have time to reach into the house bag, though?
Um, it first thing in the morning. So
Okay.
usually first thing in the morning, I get up very early. I get up very, very early. Um, and I take most of my alone time right now because for those of you who are listening who don't know, like I'm fully at home right now. I'm fully in charge of a 2-year-old gremlin and
And really effing
uh
pregnant.
and very pregnant. And so my times for myself are usually at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. And the middle of the day
Mm.
right now is when he's napping and I have time to either like jump on and do a podcast with you or I'm writing for my Substack or I'm trying to like cobble together things. Maybe I'm doing some content or something. And what I have found is if I don't, it's annoying, but if I don't wake up before my child, I will not get that time. And I really, really need that time.
Mm.
So I take my house
But
bag
like,
up
what's
with
the?
me the night before bed and I sit in my bed for literally like an hour in the morning before he gets up. Sometimes, depending on how early I'm up, maybe two. And I read or I knit or I meditate or I like, that's the time that I get. And it works. I mean, it truly does. It's not a solution. Like today, I then chased him around in 85-degree weather. I am so sweaty currently. Like I'm disgusting. And again, so pregnant. I'm
You
trying to
look
like
gorgeous.
force feed him. Thank you. I'm trying to like force feed him a peanut butter and jelly. But it like having that time to just like center myself a little bit makes all the difference. It doesn't work when they're like fresh babies out the womb because you just like can't, you have no control over your time. But it does work now in this phase. And it gets me off of social media, which is a thread I
Mm.
know we want to talk about. Have you been on social media much? Like since you've been, because I feel like for your, did you, they make you like post? You had like a certain
Yeah.
amount you had to post?
We didn't
Okay.
have posts. We would have stories. Like if you were assigned a story that the digital team liked, or you were on a
Yeah.
break, or you'd have to do a like vertical video to bring it back to that term for the socials. And yeah, it had to be edited. There was specific graphics package just for that. Get it out quickly. So yeah, it's so crazy going to like a scene and we all do our live shots. Everybody like stops and then like we have these amazing professional photographers, but then we're all just like taking out our phone and doing the selfie style. And do you know what? Like poo poo on me because some of those got crazy amount of views. I got more people that recognized me from my TikToks. Again, didn't have a TikTok at the time, still barely open one now. Like I would go to the Panera, loved my Panera, and
Mm.
the woman Jackie, shout out to Jackie, would always have my little breakfast sandwich. And one day she freaked out because she's like, "Oh my god, you're on the news." I've been getting my sandwich from her for 4 months, and this place is literally right next to the news station. She had no idea there's a news station next door. She just saw my face talking about a crime scene. It was like a triple shooting or something awful. And she was like, oh my God, you're on the news. And it was college students at ASU. One time I was like MOSing, man on the street interviewing someone. So do you know what? Like that got more views than probably when I was on broadcast.
Yeah, I know. And to think the fact that that employee did not know there was a news station next door, but saw you on TikTok just furthers the point of this article I'm about to talk about, which is that people are like heads down at their phones all the time. Like, how long did she work there? Who knows? But she had no idea there was a news station next door. Like, that is mind boggling. Like, the satellite is huge. That thing is a saucer. Like, it's so good.
Giant
Um,
letters.
Giant letters. Okay, so I am a big believer in hard copies of things. I love my new thing since I have been home with a child because I was on like screen so much for my job. I never really read the hard copy of a paper once I was working. Wait, when was the last time you picked up the hard copy of a paper?
So I steal my uncle's while I'm here to like read
I
the
love
local
that.
one. And
Yeah,
my parents, like my dad, if he does not get the Wall Street Journal on Sunday or Saturday, I forget, will call.
that's amazing. Yeah,
Like,
I get the Times now. I get the New York Times on Sundays. I love the Sunday Times. And I mean, pick your publication, whatever. That's just one I've always come back to. I
but I'm
love
also a
certain
Kindle boy, so
sections.
it depends.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm also a Kindle gal. The Kindle lives on my nightstand. The Kindle is my
Mm.
nighttime because I can be on my side and I can put it like this in the dark. Um, but hard copy of a book for like anything else. I always have one hard copy of a book I'm reading, fiction, one on my Kindle, and then usually a nonfiction that I'm like toting around. So anyway,
The
that's completely
aspirational
besides
book.
the point. Yeah, the aspirational book. I'm currently reading one called it's a craft book on writing. It's about creative nonfiction and it's called Bodywork and it's
Mm.
all anyway, it's a really good one. I'll have to send it to you.
My plug, if
This
anyone's looking for a book though, because I'm
yeah.
obsessed with this series, Dungeon Crawler Carl. If you have not seen this, things that have
What
taken
is
over my feed.
that?
Oh my God, it's a lit RPG. Do you know what that is? Like a
No.
literary role playing like game book. So it's not like choose your own
Ooh.
adventure, but it's like first person. Also, it's the best produced audiobook I have heard, period. If you are in
Wow.
market for an
Okay, I'm gonna check it
audiobook,
out.
Dungeon
Are you a
Crawler
fantasy
Carl.
reader?
Recent development. I've gotten really into like Brandon Sanderson, world building stories.
Yeah.
Um, has like talk about relaxing. Nothing better takes me out of my head
Interesting.
than like some completely different world with different rules and like so many characters to get lost in. So yeah, plug.
Yeah. I love the imagination thing, I think, is something that we lose. We're losing as we talk about AI, as we talk about this guest essay I'm going to tell you about. Speaking of in the Times, it was in the Sunday Times, which is where I saw it. And the title of it is All This Staring at Our Faces is Messing with Our Heads. Okay.
When I read this and you sent it to me, it effed me up for
Uh-huh.
like a good 30 minutes.
Yeah. It says everything is strange. We work from home, we socialize online, our private lives are increasingly public. People pretend to be brands, brands pretend to be people. We optimize our bodies until they break, and the more we know, the less secure we feel. In this inverted world, we seek to understand what is real and what is true. To know the truth of ourselves, we begin at what feels like a natural place, which is the mirror. We wish to see ourselves as others do, and modern life gives us countless opportunities. We're
Mm.
constantly confronted with our own image, whether we like it or not, on our phones, front facing videos, selfies, public spaces, the communal mirrors in Aritzia's dressing rooms come painfully to mind. I could not agree more with that.
Don't
Our
even know what
social
that
media
is.
profiles, Zoom calls, FaceTime, Ring doorbells, but we can forget that mirrors both duplicate reality and reverse it. None show you exactly as you are. Everything is strange. I like this article just like took me all the way out because it's a guest essay by she's a writer of essays and fiction. She also has a Substack as well, which Substack is, by the way, my favorite platform. Many of you know I'm on Substack. Adam's also on Substack, and there are so many points here, but the main gist is we have all of these reflections of ourselves and it distorts our sense of self and actually how we
Mm.
view ourselves because we're so focused on the external view and we're not actually learning and knowing ourselves, even though we have so much more of a picture in our heads. And I think the way that we perceive success and the way that we perceive our productivity is so inextricably tied to that, and to the way that,
Mm.
especially on social media, for me, other moms are doing it. For you, how other journalists are doing it, or how other people who have gotten out of the business are succeeding in another realm. Like, we're constantly stacking and comparing ourselves based on the images of other people, and also the image we perceive that we are supposed to have of ourselves. And most of the time, it's completely false.
You can pick the one that you hate the most and hyper focus on it. One of the things
Mm-hmm.
from that article was she was talking about like seeing her video of like her taking out the trash on her Ring camera in the morning because she got an alert that a person was outside. She went, she opens it, and she like sees greasy hair looking run down and
Oh, it's me.
automatically gets stuff relatable content.
Yeah.
And we are constantly confronted with images of ourselves. And I mean, mirrors were a luxury item was something that like
Mm-hmm.
article points out. The beautiful like thing of looking inward and covering mirrors when you are mourning is a Jewish practice. We are not meant to know. I did a story in college because I was struggling with body image issues, on male body image issues, because 12, 13 years ago it wasn't as easy to find things written about it. So I went to this professor, who had written a couple books on it, and he said something that changed how I see everything. He says, no one knows your nose the way you know your nose.
Mm.
And what he meant when he says that is if there is slightly something off, you look at your nose countless times a day. So you'll notice it and you'll hyperfixate on it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to see anything else if you're just paying attention to this guy. Replace nose with any other body part, etc. And
Right.
so, yeah, you can have the most beautiful photo shoot, look like a model, have that be your profile picture, but you'll still think about that ring cam video where you look like garbage and react and probably purchase some things in response.
Yeah, because you're bombarded with images that make you self-conscious. And uh, I just think about, like, the way that sometimes at the end of the day, I will think about all of the ways that I transgressed throughout the day against myself, right? Like, what did I eat for lunch? Or I skipped the workout, or like I didn't, hit the mark on all of the things that I said I was going to do during nap time. And then it's like you just continue to beat yourself up over and over again, and it feeds that cyclical hyper productivity sense and angst. And then I don't know if you feel this way, but sometimes I'll go to bed at the end of the day and I'm like, okay, but tomorrow I can like restart and I will be better productive. I can do it again tomorrow.
Mm,
And that becomes its own like
criticism.
pathology. Yeah. Yeah.
Now
So
you're
a
criticizing yourself
really
for
good
not doing
article.
enough. And then, really good
Yes.
article.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
the two things, tools that I use for that is one of my good friends, Nick, who I've mentioned on this podcast a bunch, used to say when I was like getting down on myself vocally, when I was like, ugh, I've been a lazy shit all day. I haven't done anything. Like, I look like garbage. And he will always stop me and be like, hey, don't talk about my friend that way.
Hmm.
And that is such a great way to turn it around. It's like, yes, I am your friend. And if somebody was talking to me that way, you would stop them. Um,
Correct.
so why shouldn't I do that to myself? I know that's very high mind. That's very kind of like be the best version of yourself. But if that can just thought go into your head once when you're
Hmm.
having one of these cycles, it can break it. And then the other kind of trick that I started using, and again, not for everybody, I have a very analytical brain. So when I start thinking I'm doing nothing, I'm ugly, you're not as in shape as everybody else, like blah, blah, blah. Right now, my algorithm is just men getting hair transplants in Turkey. That's 50%.
I've heard of the hair transplant in Turkey thing. It's been on mine before too, and now I've mentioned it near my phone, and I'm going to start getting hair transplant
Absolutely.
content. I would
My
prefer
hairline's
that
fine.
to pregnancy transformation content right now, though. So bring it on,
Oh my God.
TikTok.
Facts. But to the thought that I would use in those situations to kind of ground myself was you can form an argument. Form an argument here why you are the luckiest person today, or why today,
Mm,
like, take yourself out of it. What are objective things that are happening? inform the argument truly. So like I go through the list. It's like, do you know what? House over, like go through the easy stuff, house, family, everything like that. Dang, that's already pretty good. Like all my family's healthy right now. Everybody's doing great. Like if that wasn't in that situation, I'd be pretty pissed, and rightfully
Right.
so. And then I just kind of work down. It's like, do you know what? I had a pretty nice lunch. Or if I'm not being productive, I'm like, do you know what? I've got a podcast that I've been doing weekly. I've got a Substack I keep up with pretty weekly. I've got a couple other side projects. I've been learning a language, taking classes. You just need to fight the negative, like just push back on it.
Mm-hmm.
But to
Yeah.
take yourself out of that moment is so hard. I don't want to present
It's
this as
like the
easy.
gratitude. Like, I think what you just described is a gratitude practice in a different
Mm,
way. It's versus instead of a gratitude journal, almost like self-speaking gratitude. And we pulled this column they had on Oprah Daily. I loved it. It was just like 3 simple ways to be kinder to yourself. And the first one was the one that you just mentioned, which is be your own friend, which is you wouldn't berate, your best friend for something that, oh, they didn't like hit their mark during nap. Like I think about it all the time. I have this one friend who I
girl,
am
stop obsessing over
constantly,
what you can do during
y-
nap time.
girl,
It's
let me
nap
tell you
time.
something. Nap time feels like this. It some days it feels expansive, and other days you feel like you're like hustling because you want to like take a shower, you want to prep the kitchen, get it ready for dinner, you want to do some laundry,
Mm,
you really want to read your book. Like I want to sit down at this desk. Like I have created this physical space for myself in my house with all of my bookish things so that I can sit down here and do the things that I creatively want to do. But some days I get down here and I'm like, I don't have time. I don't have time. But I have this one friend who I talk to all the time, and she's constantly beating herself up. And if she's
mhm,
listening to this, she knows exactly who she is. And I am constantly telling her she's doing enough. And so it's funny because when I read this, I was like, oh, I need to do that to myself. Like, I am not my own friend. I'm constantly that person for my closest friends, but that's not something I do for myself. The second thing that this column says we should do, we should wipe the slate clean. Okay.
mm.
So we have the inner critic at the end of a moment where you feel like, say I get to the end of this nap time and I'm like, I didn't hit all the things I wanted to do. We have to wipe the slate clean, like just wipe it right
Don't
there.
let it keep building up over time,
Yes.
because then you're just
Yes.
it's gonna feel like a mountain even. I get
Then it
that.
feels like, yes. And a lot of it has to do with elements of what she calls like micro forgiveness, and forgiving yourself throughout the day for those little, whatever you deem to be transgressions against yourself, which they aren't. They're just like facts of living as a human being and having a bajillion balls in the air. And then this last one is remember you're learning to walk. So when a baby is learning to walk and they
Mm,
fall down, we don't say what's wrong with you, right? We just encourage them to keep
mm,
trying. So the idea being that like, hey, we're doing this podcast, we're 10 episodes in. If it failed tomorrow and we were like, we can't do this anymore, like, would we beat ourselves up for it? Probably, because you and I are who we are.
it's like,
No, but we would say like, well,
yeah,
what could we have done
what
better?
would
We would go back and,
after
and
action
look at it in
report?
hindsight. Yeah. Post-mortem it. And I think rather than that, it's like, well, what did I take from this? What did I learn? What have I gotten? Where am I going next? And just looking at everything as a bridge. So I loved that. And I loved
Mm,
the idea of micro forgiveness. That to me was huge.
mm,
It's the same element as you were talking about with looking at those pieces of gratitude throughout your day, the little bits. It's just the flip of it. It's micro forgiving yourself for the things that you feel like you did wrong. So I loved that. If you're in a spiral, like a negative spiral, or you feel like you're in a cycle, it's just like that's a good first stop. You don't have to buy some expensive gratitude journal and journal every day and do all the things, but you can start with just forgiving yourself for that last thing that you feel like you did wrong. You ate cereal for
I,
dinner, whatever. Whatever.
my personal trainer tells me to eat cereal for before I go to
I
bed
love
sometimes.
cereal for dinner. I love breakfast
It's
for dinner.
I just love breakfast. Um,
Yeah,
there's this thing that I wrote about also, speaking about our Substacks. I wrote about like
plug
language
it.
learning and how non-linear it is. Like
Mhm.
I swear, last night I was out with some friends that again I met here like organically at a bar using Spanish. I was at their place last night, and most people here have a really, really strong understanding of English, a lot of American content. They can quote Friends to you, The Simpsons, a bunch of
It's
other modern
amazing.
stuff too. But again, they don't get practice talking. So what I started doing is defaulting to letting them just talk to me in Spanish and I'll respond in English. It works
Hmm.
perfectly. It's a safety net, but I was giving myself so much crap. I was like, ugh, just like get the words out. And like the verbs were not conjugating, the tenses were messed up. I didn't know who, what, when, where, or why, and probably blame a little bit of the red wine for that. And then I remembered something that my coach, my trainer had told me, which is like, if you forgot to brush your teeth last night, you're not going to not brush your teeth the next day. You're
Yep.
like, just because you skipped that day or that moment or you like took an easier way out for that doesn't mean that that's also tomorrow. It just means that you needed that yesterday. Hey, you forgot it once. Your teeth aren't going to rot and leave your mouth because you didn't brush your teeth one night.
Yeah.
Uh, so if you're wondering what are the voices inside my head telling me when I'm trying to get the other voices to shut up, that's what it sounds like saying like this noggin.
The nonlinear thing is really a good point. And I
Mm,
think about this in the context for me right now, which is I had one child, I quit my job. I had this idea that I was just going to just like be at home and also kind of do something on the side, right? Like that would be like the linear thing. Like I just go straight into
mm,
that. And then I've kind of dabbled in some things. I've done a few things that I've liked. I've done a few things I don't. And nothing took off, I guess would be the way to put it, or I haven't
mm.
had a clear direction before I got pregnant the second time. And now I'm pregnant again and I'm expecting a baby in the fall and I'm going, "Oh, I'm about to be back at the beginning
Square
again.
one.
I'm about to
Square
be
again.
completely back at square one." And and I will also have a toddler. And then I'm going to have to navigate how I care for both of those children and try to do the things that I want to do professionally, personally, creatively.
Sam,
And
you're
a lot
stressing
of
me out
that
by
comes,
proxy.
I know. Now you know what goes through my brain at like 2 a.m. I wrote about this in my Substack,
Girl,
speaking
you're
of this week.
producing life.
I
You don't
know.
need to be doing
I
nothing
am
else.
I see and correct. That is a logical thought and correct. I am
Mm,
someone who really struggles with not having something intellectually every day. I really have a hard
mhm.
time with that. And I know that there are going to be some moms listening to this who can relate. Am I so grateful to have the freedom and the flexibility to be at home in this phase? Yes. Like it is magical getting to spend this much time with my child. It also, for my brain, I literally cried about this to Logan in bed like a week ago. I was like bawling my eyes out. It's like 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, I just feel like my brain is like mushy. It's like, your brain is not mushy. But you do start to feel like you're talking to a toddler all day, speaking of a
Mm.
different language. And that interaction coming off of working a job where you use language in such a critical way. Like it's critical speaking to a toddler very differently. And so I think that has been something I have struggled with is yes, do I want to be home? Uh-huh. I want to be here in this phase. I cannot imagine handing that off to anybody else. And also, I miss having the ability to do this. And so I think that's just something that I will grapple with. And what I keep coming back to, and Logan and I remind ourselves of this all the time, it's temporary, this period of time. In 3 years, he'll be in kindergarten and then he's going to be off to school for the next forever. And we won't get this time. And that doesn't mean
Mm.
that I have to be grateful for it each and every day. It doesn't mean it's like any other job. Like you're not going to be happy all the time or explicitly joyful, but you can be mostly in that gratitude feeling versus like, oh, I'm missing out on something. So that's where my brain is lately because I'm like, I have to just remember that this is so fleeting and temporary. And yes, today was a day where I was looking at the clock and I was like, oh my God, when is nap time? Like I can't fight you anymore trying to go into
Mm.
the neighbors' backyards. Like he's so fast and he just takes off into people's backyards. And I'm like, you can't go back there. That's not your yard. And he's like a total flight risk. But
Oh my
there
God,
are
can you
some
put one of
days
those leashes on them? Can we try to
he
leash him?
needs a leash. Okay, but then he flops. Like, so you catch him and then you're like, okay, dude, let's go. And he just goes limp noodle. And then I'm having to like, that's why I'm so sweaty. Like at the end of every day, I'm like, I wrestle him all day long. Like my biceps are so strong right now. I am jacked. Just wrestle a 30-pound bowling ball
I
while
mean,
carrying
this is a
another
whole
like 30-pound bowling ball in my stomach. Um,
God.
so yeah,
You
but
know,
thank
if a
you for that
guy has dealing with
validation.
any of that, like, I just want you to know any guy in my life, if they were actively pregnant and there was another child, there would be only complaining.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. I,
And
I
I
agree with
just
that
can't.
100%.
And the crazy thing is like anyone who knows us, like even our friends who know all of these thoughts that run through our head are like, Adam, you're on a break with family in Argentina. Like, calm the F down. Sam,
Mm-hmm.
you have this great situation.
Mm-hmm.
You are pregnant. You wanted this. Like, you have an amazing toddler who is happy and healthy. Your husband's doing great. You're able to have some of your outlets. Look, you have a podcast. Look, you have a Substack.
Yeah.
And even though we're just like, yeah, that ain't enough for me. It's
Yeah.
when you say it out loud, you're just kind of like, okay,
You're like,
maybe.
yeah, what is wrong with me? But it is a good point to think about the flip. Like if you
Mm,
were still at your job in Phoenix, if I was still at my job that I was at right before I left, how different and how much would we be wishing for this time or this space? And so I think I'm going to take that with me when we hop off of this podcast today. And I'm going to
mhm.
sit my ass on the couch and I am going to read one of my 15 books that I bought at Barnes and Noble this week. Um, and I think there's this incredible author. She runs a Instagram called, it used to be Mother Untitled. Now it's just her name, Neha Rush. She wrote this book called The Power Pause. She published it right around the time that I quit my job. And essentially her whole shtick is she was in business and then she took some time off to be fully at home. And she
Mm,
used that time to grow as a person. And she used that time to build up her network and to think about the ways that she wanted to actually work in the future and how that would work with her kids. And then she wrote this book about something called The Power Pause, where it's like a woman taking a beat to figure out what comes next and in the context of family and motherhood. And one of the things she talks about is about how slowly she grew that Mother Untitled Instagram page. And it's just a reminder that like things don't always happen expeditiously at all. That's where my brain is. And also I feel like I'm rolling around like a rotisserie chicken at night because I just can't, like I'm just uncomfortable. I'm pregnant, I'm hot. And so we're
God,
surviving
why do
and we're
people voluntarily
thriving.
do this? Why do people
I you
voluntarily do
know,
this?
because to actually get to this point, it's the fun of it, and then you get pregnant and it's not. I don't remember last time. I'm like, did I enjoy pregnancy more? I don't know. I'm pretty like indifferent about pregnancy itself, minus
Hmm.
the physical like discomfort of it. But I don't mind being pregnant. Like I don't miss drinking. I don't like it's not like I was out there partying or anything. Like I don't miss anything in my life. Like I'm just
Mm.
pregnant and also doing it.
I mean,
You're like,
hats
this
off to
doesn't sound
you.
good.
No, it literally like this every time you describe like your current situation, especially when it relates to pregnancy, I just like thank my stars I don't have a uterus in this exact moment.
Yeah. But you
And
know what,
and
Adam? Then you just eject a baby at the end of it.
is that all it
And
is? Just an eject
yeah,
button?
you push the eject
They
you
didn't teach
push
me
the
that in
eject
bio.
button. Yeah, now this is the birds and the bees. You push the eject button, the stork drops your baby down. And you get to like look the first 24 hours, you're looking at this person that like your body created.
Yeah, that would blow
It
my
is the
mind. That would blow my
wildest. Yeah,
mind.
it blows your mind. And I remember the first morning like waking up, granted Teddy was in the NICU and I had to go see him. But like
Mm.
waking up and seeing him and being like, oh my God, I birthed that out of my body yesterday. It blows your mind. Like, I'm so excited to have a newborn again. And that actually is the thought that I keep coming back to, is like,
Is
I'm
that real
excited
that
to do
like
that
your
again.
body just like kind of makes you forget the pain?
Yeah.
Not to like get into pregnancy stuff, but
No.
okay.
We'll table that topic for another time, but I will
Table.
tell you, and this is a tease for anyone who has not read my birth story, but I am a deep believer, both Adam and I are, in meditation and mindfulness. And I learned the art of hypnobirthing for my first birth, and I had a natural birth, and I hope to do it again the second time. But there is a very real amnesia element to the whole thing. And I
Mm.
vividly remember, like, as he was coming out, saying to myself, you're going to try to forget this moment. Your brain is going to try and give you retrograde amnesia. But remember, this is really hard and you don't want to do this again for a little while. Like, I remember having that thought. You don't want to do this again for like a little while. And then you'll be fine and you'll want to do it again. And yeah, you have to decide you want to do it again. But that's a topic for another time.
And on
But
that
yeah,
note, I've
baby,
got some good news.
please give us some good news.
we we had a roller coaster of a conversation today. I'm here
I
for it.
love it. It's
Um,
listen, it's 10 episodes. We can do what we want.
mm, mm,
Mm-hmm.
mm. I will honestly, the story's not that great. I just love how it was presented. High school football player in Arkansas practices with a venomous snake in his helmet. The first line, thank you, AP. A high school football player in Arkansas had every right to be rattled after finding a venomous snake inside his helmet during practice. They got it out, like end of story. Nothing crazy. It was a cotton mouth.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
reluctant. They had to use tongs. Um, like the picture with the
What?
article is literally just like it
Wait,
chilling
I need to look
in
at it.
the padding. Um,
What?
so, huh.
What?
Animal
I
Services
mean,
Director Chris Davis said the player wore the helmet for nearly an hour and was fortunate he wasn't bitten.
yeah, I'd say so. Oh my God. Oh, gross.
I'll link it.
Ooh.
Now that I know how to show
That is
notes,
a
we'll link in the show notes.
that is a crazy photo. It's just like
It's
hanging
just
out
like,
in between like the shell part of the
it's
helmet and the
cozy. It's
padding.
probably warm in there. They're cold-blooded, so it's enjoying like a nice summer day in a cozy helmet. Can't blame them.
How did he not get bitten? Wow, wow, wow. That's like a story you tell for
Yo,
the rest of your
don't
life.
don't screw with snakes, and snakes don't screw with you. That
No,
is what
and
Arizona taught me.
you have not watched you haven't watched Euphoria at all, have you?
Mm-mm.
We talked about this. Yeah, there's a pretty epic snake scene at the end of that. And I won't spoil it. No
Interesting.
spoilers for anyone, but let's just say I now every time I see like a photo of a snake, I am just like immediately like, "Ugh,
Oh,
gross." Aren't
well,
cottonmouths super
another
dangerous too?
reason.
Super venomous.
Yeah, super.
Scary.
Like, definitely
Yeah.
could have killed
No.
a kid.
You're
Shout
not
out
gonna
to
find
life.
me in any situation that is desert specific near snakes. No, thank you.
So the good news
No
is he
thanks.
lived.
So, good news is he's alive. We're reframing all of our life's problems. And here we
And on that note, I will see you next week, my dear.
Oh my God. Love ya. Thanks for doing 10 episodes of whatever this is with me. This has been so much
Whatever
fun.
this is.
We're
Love it.
basically just working out our own therapy in episode 10. And I hope anyone who has felt like they're not doing enough gets some solace here. God bless. We'll see you for week 11. Mwah. Bye.